Okay, guys, so we are still working with number lines, but today we're going to talk about um, modeling a fraction on a number line that is greater than one whole. Okay, so we're going to be talking about fractions greater than one whole. Okay. So you will need this handout. It says measuring with fractions exit ticket. It looks like this. It has number lines and some stars. And it's telling us to label fractions for each star on the number line below. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is if you notice our number lines, not all of them start at 0 and end at 1. Because remember, we're going greater than one whole. So these numbers that we see on our number line are whole numbers. Okay, so let's look at this first one, 3, 4, and 5. Those are whole numbers. Okay, so that means that 3, there are 3 wholes, 4 wholes, 5 wholes. In between is where our fractions are going to be. So think about when your mom is making a recipe. How many of you, your mom either bakes a cake or she's following recipes to make dinner? And sometimes on the recipe card, I don't have a recipe book with me, but sometimes, say like you're baking cookies, and it may ask for 1.5 cups of flour. Okay, so it's going to be greater than just 1 cup. It's 1.5 cups of flour. So I have a whole cup and then my fraction part, which is half of a cup. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about, going beyond just a whole. So when we do this, the first thing we need to do, just like normal, is we need to count the number of the number of spaces between the whole numbers. So I'm not going to count the number of spaces all the way down. I don't need to do that. I need to count from one whole number to the next. So from 3 to 4, I have how many spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know between 3 whole and 4 wholes, I have 4 spaces. So my denominator is going to be 4. Okay, so I have 4 pieces or 4 parts. Okay, so on yesterday's work, I know when we did our number lines, we talked about how we started our number line with, let me grab it. So when we looked at this number line, we started at 0 halves, 1 half, 2 halves. We cannot do that here because there's no such thing as this would not be 3/4. Okay. So this is going to stay 3. This is our whole number. Okay, so let's find the fractions for these. So we know that our denominator is going to be 4. Okay, so this would be 1/4, because I'm jumping 1. This would be 2/4. This would be 3/4. So this point right here is not just 2/4 because my whole number in front of it is 3. This is actually 3 and 2/4. This would be 2 and 1/4. This would be 3 and 3/4. Okay. So it's like, oh, why did I put a 2 there? It's supposed to be a 3. So this number right here is going to be our whole number that we are going to be adding to our fraction. Okay, so it's kind of like you would write like a recipe. Remember I told you The recipes, they don't say, they tell you the whole that you need and then whatever fraction piece that goes with it. Okay, so let's try over here. So let's count the spaces between our whole number 4 and the whole number 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 parts. Okay, so I know that these are going to be fourths. Okay, so I have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Now the only difference is I have a whole number of 4. So this is going to be 4, 4 and 1/4, 4 and 2/4, 4 and 3/4. Okay. And we're doing this, guys, because we're going greater than 1 whole. So the number lines that we were doing before, if you noticed, let me find my paper. The number lines that we were looking at before started at 0 and went to 1 whole. So we didn't have a whole number to put. But now that we're going beyond a whole, we have a whole number that we have to put in with our fraction. Okay. Let's try another one. So this one starts, so we're going to look at the whole numbers. So I want you to circle the whole numbers on this number line. So what are my whole numbers? I have 0, I have 1, and I have 2. Those are my whole numbers. Okay. So let's count how many spaces we have between 0 and 1. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So between 0 and 1, there are 8 parts. Okay. So that means that my denominator is going to be 8. And my numerator is going to be each jump that I'm making. So this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, this would be 5, this would be 6, this would be 7. So I have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. So this star is on 5/8. Now, because I'm going from 0 to 1, I do not have a whole number. Okay, 0. That means this is just 1/8, 2/8. I have not gone, these are not greater than 1 whole. Now, here, I'm going to go from my whole number 1 to 2. So now we're going to be doing greater than 1 whole. So let's count the spaces that I have between 1 and 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 parts. Okay. Now, I'm going to be counting by eighths, but remember I have 1 whole. So this would be 1 and 1/8. This would be 1 and 2/8. This would be 1 and 3/8. This would be 1 and 4/8. And the reason I'm saying 1 is because our whole number is 1. I have 1 and 5/8, 1 and 6/8, 1 and 7/8. And then I would go to now this would not be 1 and 8/8. This is going to be 2. Okay, so my points, my stars are at 1 and 2/8 and 1 and 4/8. So remember, this 1 is coming from the whole number that we are counting after. So we're counting after the whole number 1. So all of these are is gonna be 1 and something eighths. Okay. Now this last one, I want you to try to work this last one. Okay, so your whole numbers are 5, 6, and 7. So tell me, what point would this be? Okay. And then answer the question at the bottom. How would you describe what a point is on a number line? So how would you describe that? And I want more than just one sentence. All right.